Welcome back to another episode of Jacksonville Buzz's Buzz on Veterans. I'm Steve Strum with my illustrious counterpart, Colonel Chris Budihas, retired U.S. Army and a little bit Marine. And we are here today talking with Mercy Ohiaeriaku. Did I get it right? I got it right. This interview's over. From Mercy Speaks.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you both for your service to our great country. I grew up in the Army, and I think that today we're going to talk a little bit about what you're doing in your business to help people transition.
Yes.
I know how it is growing up in the military, a little bit of an Army brat. You spend all your summers in military bases doing a thing. Yep. Tell us a little bit about your company. What do you do to help people transition?
Yes, Mercy Speaks is a consulting firm that also coaches and mentors military spouses, especially in terms of career coaching and transition management. It is a dear passion of mine, having been married to an active duty service member for the past 17 years. And seeing the nuances and the struggles of military spouses to maintain a career and to feel valued and to understand the kind of value they bring to the table. Just by navigating all the crazies that comes with being married to a military member.
So you got quite the story yourself.
I
So
did.
let's talk about you a little bit before we dive a little more back into Mercy Speaks. So tell us your military story.
Yes, I joined the Army actually on a challenge, a dare.
Did you win?
I don't know if I won. But I joined the Army, Missouri Army National Guard.
Okay.
They came to our school, take the ASVAB and you get a day off. Took the ASVAB, got a day off, and the recruiter would come at lunchtime, join the military, join the military. I'm like, no. And my friend's like, you could never make it through boot camp. I'm like, yes, I can. I'm Mercy. I can do anything. That's why I
Believe in
joined
yourself.
the Missouri Army National Guard. And I came in as a 51 Bravo, carpentry and masonry specialist, a bricklayer. And I'm like, why am I here? I should have asked more questions.
When most people think about the military, they think about the guy and the gal driving with the gun or flying the plane, and they're like, and I'm sitting over here, peeling potatoes at least would be consistent. Now I'm sitting here laying bricks.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the recruiter said I would be an engineer, and I was a civil engineer. And so I transitioned out of the Missouri Army National Guard because you can't get out of the military once you sign your life to Uncle Sam.
Yeah.
And so I transitioned to the U.S. Navy as a hospital corpsman.
Oh, great.
And then served my 5 years to making up my 8 years as a hospital corpsman, went in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom. And I was like, okay, now I think it's time to get back to school and do something different.
Awesome. And your husband, obviously, you're a military spouse yourself. So
I am.
between all of us, so his mother was a military spouse. My mom was a military spouse. My wife's a military spouse. So what is that transition? Because how you see helping those spouses? Like what kind of service you providing? How you coaching them? Obviously, you're probably looking through your own lens and experience that you've seen, and how you doing that?
Yeah, coaching for me, coaching was just a framework to make sure I was giving good advice. That was what I sought out, like friends and other military spouses that I would engage with, they'd have struggles, and we just talk about it amongst ourselves. And I'm like, there has to be a way to have this conversation in a wholesome way, in a structured way that really was helping to push growth, that was holding accountability and giving structure so that the things we chat about in passing and then 10 years later, we're like, maybe I should have done that. I had an experience of a military spouse who wanted to go to law school, and we were stationed in Portsmouth that time, and there was a program. I'm like, you should probably do this program now. Oh no, I do it at our next duty station.
Yeah.
And then they got to the next duty station, and that program wasn't at that next duty station, and that's a dream lost. And so from there, I went into just getting training, being a certified executive coach and a resilience coach, so that conversations that we have can really produce outcome. And then going back to my military experience in the military of having to deal with just the challenges that came with that, having to drop courses in support of deployment, having to manage deployment, being on the other side of a deployment, and then being able to coach a military spouse while their husband is deployed, and bringing that conversation forward.
So interesting as we kind of transition, one of the things we were talking about a little bit in the show prep is, freedom is from a guy from Florida, and another gentleman from Florida. It's just one of the things that we grew up with. You are from an international area, but so freedom to you and joining the military, as we kind of transition into this transition management coaching business that we're talking about, that's a little different for you. So I'd love to know a little bit about, for the folks here, it was Nigeria that you came from as a child. And so why did you determine, I know the debt, I know the bet, I got it, and the dare, but what motivated you to, because freedom rings a little different from somebody who might have experienced a different reality of what freedom is or is not internationally. As we kind of go into that coaching business, what made you want to be a patriot so much different than a person that just grows up? My brother joined the Army after 9/11, so obviously buildings fell down, he's on his way. What motivated you to do that?
Yeah, I had an experience in the bunkers in Kuwait one time, and where there was this announcement that there was missile inbound, and it was real and it wasn't a drill. And I think at that moment it resonated with me that when I said yes, even for the reason why I said yes, it was up to the cost of my life. And I hadn't come to terms with that before that because of the path that got me here. And then now looking back and thinking through the cost of my life, right? I look at America as this great land of opportunity that has given me a lot of opportunities that has shaped my story. My family moved here as a teenager. My dad came on a scholarship to St. Louis University to study aeronautic engineering, and then got a job with McDonnell Douglas, who's now Boeing. Is how we got here.
Very cool. That's amazing.
Yes, and America has given us this really beautiful opportunity. The only way, go ahead.
No, please.
And I feel like part of my responsibility in saying thanks, and part of my duty in showing appreciation is to serve. Even in my faith, I feel that same way, that someone has given me this gift of life, and who am I not to give back in a way that is meaningful, true service?
I mean, it rings a lot different. My mother, the reason I asked that question is, my mother's family was a Croatian immigrant because of ethnic cleansing.
Wow.
And we're talking literally a couple generations ago, they came with just the shirts on their back. And their whole thing was, we're going to sacrifice it all so that our family, our kids, our grandkids and great-grandkids can have the opportunity for America. Just always an interesting story when you hear somebody who decided to go military service from a foreign country, where that rings a little different. So as we kind of wrap it up, let's talk a little bit about your transition coaching business, and we're going to make sure to hang up all your links on the website, because we can probably go for an hour about this. Chris can say hello for 30 minutes. I mean, and I'm just getting warmed up. He'll wake me up in 31 minutes, and I'll go for the next hour. So, tell us a little bit about your business.
Yeah, as I shared earlier, it was just something I wanted to create structure around. It was something that was happening behind the scene, and I know many military spouses are doing that anyway. And so I wanted to create some structure around that to be able to formalize it. One, to make sure that we are making impact. Two, and that we are able to reach more people. And part of how that happens is peer training, that peer training, train the trainer type model, where I help to train other sets of trainers who are able to continue to provide that service forward. And so, that's what we're doing. That's what we're getting started and ramping up here. It's already started. That's what we're ramping up here, is that building that network of both spouses and trainers.
That's great. And since we have viewers across the nation, how do they find you?
www.mercyspeaks.com.
Oh, that's easy.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. Good.
That's almost as easy as hashtag Colonel Chris.
I like that.
So, in all sincerity, though, thank you for coming on, talking about your story, talking about your business, talking about all the things you've experienced. So both you, lady and gentlemen, thank you guys for doing what you did so we could do this all the time. Awesome. And everybody out there, we'll make sure to hang on our website on thedailynewsnetwork.com, all your links. And, of course, Mercy Speaks being easily Googleable. And if you guys like us, share us, and remember, love with gratitude.
Operation Barnabas is a veterans ministry, started in 2017 with the purpose of helping our veterans that kind of got left behind, and they've struggled with addictions, PTSD, suicidal thoughts, those kind of things, helping them get whole again. Through one-to-one mentorship.
Being able to communicate with them and help them can drastically change their life, can drastically change a family's life. The little that we can do is put our hand out and say, hey, do you want a hand up?